The Duchess of Sussex takes out the Prince of British television, Piers Morgan. We have an update from Milo Yiannopoulos for the first time in a couple years, announcing that he is now ex-gay. And the George Floyd Derek Chauvin trial begins in Minneapolis, and we look into what's going on with the juror selection. This is your March 10th Not So News update. Please like and subscribe if you're looking for your daily news content, and let's dive on in. Starting us off from the Hill, we have CNN's Don Lemon. We don't need to hear the royal family side after Oprah interview. Earlier in the week, we had Meghan and Prince Harry go on to an interview with Oprah Winfrey, where they announced issues of racism that was apparently coming from the royal family. The Hill reports following. CNN's host Don Lemon said on Monday that there's no need to hear the British royal family's thoughts on the accusations made by the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in their interview with Oprah Winfrey. People say we haven't heard from the other side. What's the other side going to say? Lemon asked during an appearance on the network on Monday. They're going to say, of course we're not racist or whatever. Lennon also said the royal family has made its position clear by refusing to stand up for Prince Harry because he is married to a black woman and had a black child. So listen, we have only heard from one side, but that's one side at this point rings very true. The reason why you generally look into what the other side says and during these types of issues is because normally the person is trying to put themselves in a point of view to look good. We've gotten to a point in our society where it looks good to, be able to declare that the people against you are racist, sexist, bigoted, whatever. So yes, we do need to see the other side. This is how we form an informed decision. Generally, when we're trying to make decisions in our life, we're looking for all the information we can possibly have, and this idea that we should just not look for information seems awfully skeptical and seems like there's something that CNN is trying to hide, or at least Don Lemon is. We also see this story developing as Piers Morgan leaving Good Morning Britain after storming off set over his attacks on Meghan. In the Daily Show, Piers actually got up and left his own show after making remarks on the interview. CNN Business reports, after Oprah Winfrey's interview with Harry and Meghan, in which Meghan revealed she had previously had suicidal thoughts and said a royal family member had raised concerns about the skin tone of her child, Morgan made a number of comments lampooning the couple. He said on Twitter on Monday that it was just another reminder that anyone who criticizes Meghan Markle is deemed a racist bully. He also questioned on Monday's show whether she was being truthful about having suicidal thoughts, comments he has since tried to walk back. UK media regulator Ofcom said it received over 41,000 complaints about the program. As of Tuesday afternoon, we have launched an investigation to Monday's episode of Good Morning Britain under our harm and offense rules. It said in a statement on Twitter on Tuesday. Morgan faced criticism from his own colleague, and he later announced yesterday that he would be walking off of the show and leaving permanently. This kind of shows the difference in media between the United States and the UK. Our big brothers across the pond, it seems they don't really care about what freedom of the press. If you condemn the royal family, they will turn on you. From the Daily Caller, we have an exclusive. The new DCCC chief technology officer called on followers to burn every precinct to the ground, and police killed her. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee's new chief technology officer, Erica Joy Baker, has tweeted anti-police rhetoric and even calls on police precincts to be burnt to the ground if she was killed by an officer. We have the following tweet. If the cops kill me, the only way to sully my legacy is to not be out in the streets. If the cops kill me, burn every cop precinct to the ground. If the cops kill me, shut down the highways and throw the tear gas back at them where they try you. GTFO with that sully shit. And this is regarding a Biden comment that protesters shouldn't sully Taylor's legacy with a violent demonstration. This kind of just shows that where the mainstream Democratic platform is when it comes to violence and whatnot. There's no longer anything that is above calls to action, especially when you're targeting individuals that have nothing to do with the crime being committed. In a LifeSite interview, Milo Yiannopoulos announces he is now ex-gay and concentrating his life to St. Joseph. I'm going to read off some of the interview now. LifeSite, I imagine that to many who follow you in your recent decision to publicly identify as Milo ExGay may seem like a 180-degree turn. Are you also surprised your life has taken this turn, or is it unsurprisingly a natural and perhaps inevitable progression in your life? I ask this because over the last few years, things that you have said hinted at being drawn in this direction. Milo responds, when I was a kid, that only became gay to torment my mother. I wasn't entirely joking, of course. I was never wholly at home in the gay lifestyle. Who is? Who could be? And only learned heavily into public because it drove liberals crazy to see a handsome, charismatic, intelligent gay man rightly celebrating conservative principles. That's not to say I didn't throw myself enthusiastically into degeneracy of all kinds in my private life. I suppose I felt that's all I deserved. I'd love to say it was kind of all an act, and I've been straight at this whole time, but even I don't have that kind of commitment to performance all. That's about method acting. Later on, the life site asks, in what ways has this impacted your personal and social life? And Milo responds, well, the guy I live with has been demoted to housemate, which hasn't been easy for either of us. It helps that I can still just about afford to keep him in agreemency in a new Porsche every year. Could be worse for him, I guess. My own life has changed dramatically. Though it crept up on me while I wasn't paying attention, I'm someone who responds to micromanagement and accountability, so I found counting days an effective bulwark against sin. In the last 250 days, I've only slept once, which is a lot better than I predicted I would do. I feel as though a veil has been lifted in my house, like there's something real and honest going on than before. It's been a gradual uncovering rather than a dramatic reveal. Maybe the lack of theater or spectacle is a sign that the gay impulses truly are receding. BuzzFeed announces deep cuts to the Huffington Post staff after acquisition. BuzzFeed announces layoff for the HuffPost newsroom on Tuesday, 3 weeks after acquiring HuffPost from Verizon Media in February. Hilary Frey, the site's executive editor, and Louise Rugg, the executive editor for International, will be departing in a restructuring effort aimed at stemming financial losses. The deal between BuzzFeed, HuffPost, and Verizon Media was made public in November. And Peretti told staffers the decision, which will affect 47 U.S. employees, including 8 in management, was made in order to fast track the path to profitability for HuffPost, enabling the company to break even this year and eventually turn a profit. HuffPost losses total around $20 million in 2020. Though BuzzFeed is a profitable company, we don't have the resources to support another 2 years of losses, Peretti said. Notably, HuffPost and BuzzFeed did not comment when jobs were also taken with just the signing of a pen on a piece of paper, when we saw oil jobs being taken early this year at the Keystone Pipeline by President Biden. Finally, we look into the beginnings of the George Floyd, Derek Chauvin trial. We have a couple of tweets regarding the story coming out of specifically Jack Prospiak. The first comments comes from Mark Davis. Holding this trial in Minneapolis is insane. Jurors should be free to focus on facts and evidence without fear of their city exploding in rage if they don't deliver the required verdict. This is mentioning how the trial is taking place in Minneapolis, where there is a lot of concerns about rioting and protests breaking out. And then Jack reports that following juror number 8 says he's concerned with the rioters will attack his house if he serves on the jury and his name is released in George Floyd trial. This shows just how scary the events are that are going on in Minneapolis as a result of this trial, and also kind of reflects on the earlier story when it came into the Democratic technology officer, that there is now a new standard when the events and trials don't go our way, that we just burn the cities down. This has been a standard that's been set the entire last summer, and seems to be the trend that's going to be continuing on. At some point as a country, we need to say that this is not an option, that violence and destruction of property, of other individuals' property, is not an option. And this is your March 10th Not So News update. Once again, please like and subscribe if you're looking for daily news content, and have a good one.